So I would like to also now invite Nir Brenmiller to present for Brenmiller, which is an Israeli company that's been in the sector for a number of years. It's got a fascinating history. And they also actually have a number of units that have been in operation for some time. So Nir, the floor is yours.
Hi, Andre. Thank you for having me. And I'll try to keep it short because we have a long evening. We founded the company in 2012. We are a clean tech company that develops, manufacture, and sells thermal energy storage solutions. And we want to decarbonize heat at the industrial sector and also in power plants. Over $100 million were invested in the company to date. Actually, when we started the company, we were a team coming out of Siemens. We were coming out of thermal solar. We knew well molten salts at 2 tanks, and we were sure that the market deserves, a simpler solution and more cost-effective, that you can also go to smaller scales, other industries. And we founded the company and we funded the company ourselves. We invested in the company over $40 million. And to date, we are already funded by over 100. We are 52 people. A little bit about what we've done to date. So we have now 4 projects that are already commissioned, 2 in construction, already 73 megawatt in place. We have over $500 million and 6 gigawatt hour of pipeline, and some of it are in advanced stages, some of it are a little bit more early stages, but it's growing faster than we have believed. In order to stand in front of this demand and supply, we have constructed together with the EIB a 4 gigawatt hour manufacturing plant, almost fully automated, so we can also make money out of selling this equipment and services. So it's highly efficient. Our steam temperature is going all the way up to 550 degrees C, meaning we can serve almost all industries. And I think that if I can choose just one number out of this number, I'll choose 97%, which is the efficiency we convert electricity to heat. It's amazing. I'll explain shortly how we do it. But efficiency is everything. And capital cost and all the rest is simply less important when you look at, a financial model for years. If you convert it 97% efficiency, you are in a good place. Now, this is also important, even though Alex also showed a very similar version of this slide. We are not in a beauty contest today where one technology will prevail. This is a kilowatts opportunity, and you have so many sweet spots for so many companies that can serve huge industries. Our sweet spot is in the low-medium range heat. I must say that we take a conservative approach to everything. We start with the spreadsheet and add with the spreadsheet when we try to develop something, because you need to be innovative to some extent if you want to sell in your lifetime, because the business model is innovative and the market approach is innovative, and you are replacing boilers that are super conservative, and you can't come with everything that is cutting edge and never been used and never been tested. So everything we do is not too aggressive and not too exotic. So we have to date, around 62 gigawatt hour also, and that's more than enough. And I'm going to give you some examples. But this is how we look from the inside. We have embedded heaters, and we take exactly, I'd say, the opposite approach from what you heard. We take everything inside the box because we want to keep the efficiency. So we have embedded heaters. We have a lot of heaters because we want to keep high availability. If 10 heater fails, nothing happened. You still remain with extremely high availability. And when you are on a production floor, availability and reliability is really everything. When you want, you want the contract to be signed, you want the engineer to approve it. So we are working very hard to keep everything in standards. We act according to all the standards. We have a modular approach. We can provide the steam or hot air or oil at pressures that are going all the way to 120 bar. So we can also spin a turbine. And all the materials we are using are eco-friendly. We were using crushed rocks, standard pipes. Everything is recyclable, so we tick all these boxes. And we, of course, patented in the US and Europe and across the globe. In the last 2 years, we've been working really hard to construct this manufacturing plant where we can support $200 million sales per year with very nice margins. We are fully vertically integrated. We take in raw materials and we put up modules and then we ship it. But this production plant by itself is a product. We construct it and design it in a way that if today US market ramps up or other market, we can set up a factory in 6 to 12 months to support this market. I also really believe that the markets will demand that you will make it in the US or make it in Europe, and you will get all the grants only if you do so. So this is part of our approach to manufacture locally. A little bit about our timeline. So we developed the product all the way to, I would say, 2016. Then we had the first manufacturing plant. Then we started the commercial, I would say, more technology point POCs and pre-commercial projects. We had 4, one with the Israel Defense Forces, with New York Power Authority in New York, with Fortlev, which is a large water tanks manufacturer in Brazil, and with Enel. We also tested a lot of applications. I mean, back in 2018, electrification was not so promising because the prices of electricity were super high. So we were more into waste heat recovery. But today, most of our focus is into either electrification and grid services or large power plants that can be utilized and can be retrofitted, coal power plants, gas power plants, like the project we did with Enel near Florence. This is our milestone project. And now we are deep into the commercial phase. We have the first 2 commercial sales. One with Tempo is the largest beverage manufacturer in Israel. It's a subsidiary of Heineken. It's also a brewery. They manufacture Pepsi, Heineken, and many other brands. And we are really getting into the core of this production plant. And this is a huge breakthrough for us. It's really not easy to penetrate into a live production floor such as these. We also have a hospital, a state-owned hospital that will be switching his diesel boilers to our systems. And now mainly we are working on go-to-market business opportunities, growing our network, and a little bit about how we do it. So we go to countries where we see advantage over gas or coal or other fuels. We go to countries where the grid supports grid services and other, I would say, advanced grids or high penetration of renewables in the grid. And also when you have carbon taxes or emission targets. So Europe by far today is the most interesting market. We operate in other places as well, but I would say the European continent by far today, because you have natural gas coming out of Russia, and everyone knows these stories. So we choose the right partner. We open either a JV or some subsidiary because we want to provide the heat as a service, and we need balance sheet and we need the local presence. Then we choose the right industry where the temperature range is right. When we believe that, you know, if it's not super attractive in terms of economics, it will never happen. Environmental or emissions is just not enough. You need to do everything. Be clean and green on the dollar as well. And because we are so many years, you know, into the market, we want to see only short sales cycles. We lost our patience, you know, to develop projects for 10 years. We do it really, you know, in a small scale, but most of the attention goes to sales cycles that are 4 to 8 months, where we can see purchase orders. And then client selection, we have so much leads and so much attention coming in that we don't take projects that don't have then multiples, or you get into Heineken, they have other breweries, you get into Philip Morris, they have other plants. That's our line of thinking. So you really invest into penetrating into these clients because they are big and they are smart and they are conservative. But once you're in, you can grow inside. I will review really fast, the projects we are doing now or did. On the right, in New York, for college, we took a micro turbine. We take the excess heat and the excess power of this gas turbine. Target round trip efficiency there was 80. We are not there yet, but we are really close, and this is amazing. You take a small turbine, and this is also, reducing emission by doubling the efficiency is also amazing. We heat up the sports center there. For Enel, we are taking excess steam, a standard gas-fired power plant today on the grid is being asked to shut down many times a day because you have a lot of solar, a lot of wind, and they can't just shut down, in milliseconds. So they have a lot of excess heat. We are utilizing this heat to peak hours. In the Wolfson Hospital, we will replace now the diesel boilers for the hospital needs. I mentioned already the Heineken brewery. These two are going to be online sometime around mid next year, commissioned. Just a quick overview of the commercial opportunities, how they spread around, and so you can see that most of the opportunities are in Europe. We also operate in India and in the US and in Brazil. Brazil is interesting because a lot of industrial heat and cost of electricity now is really low. India is interesting because you have a lot of gas and coal power plants that need solution for the vast integration of renewables into the grid. And the rest, almost all the rest is Europe, and we mentioned the electrification and providing grid services, etc. We talked about, industries and how they, but you can see that we have something almost in every industry, because even if you go to steel mills, they have temperatures in the range that can utilize your technology, even if you're not going all the way to 1500 C. And in terms of energy as a service versus equipment, it's a little bit misleading because we really push hard to all the small, medium projects to be in energy as a service model, but the equipment projects are really big, because if you put a project in a power plant, it's like, 10, 20 times bigger than an industrial project. So this is the mix. This is a little heat map on where the projects are, and really we are targeting top rents. We really believe that it makes sense to invest more time and efforts, and we want to be a supplier. Once you're a supplier of Intel, once you're a supplier of this organization, you are in for life, and we prefer to invest now when there are not many players that are commercial ready in the market, and we can be market leader, at least in terms of how many engine hours do you got? Show me where it's working. That's it. Andre, I hope I made it in time.
That's brilliant. You did. In fact, I've got a question that's come up, and I think it's relevant for you as well as Martin at Craftblock. And it's really about the experience, because both of you have been installing systems. And I just wondered, I know, Martin, you're still with us. And I realized I stopped a bit short. I was looking at the wrong part of the clock. So, but it's really about what have you learned in the last couple of years in installing it? Because I think some of the other companies are younger and they've got great tech and they're just starting to commercialize. But what could you share in your experience? And maybe a couple minutes from you, Nir, and if Martin, you could share just some of those kind of more, grease under the nails kind of learnings, right? That would be valuable. Thank you.
I think that the technology part is really a small part of the business. You need to be really good in learning the client, site surveys, integration to the client. I think that the package is more important than, you know, you will have in 5 years a lot of technologies that are working, but to provide a system and provide a solution, you need to provide him with the ability to purchase electricity. You need to provide, and also they don't care about your technology. They don't want to be an owner of a state-of-the-art system. They just want to manufacture their candies or pasta. So you need to take responsibility on a lot of things and provide a turnkey solution. And I think that this is really, you know, something that took us a lot of time to learn. But now I think that many take this approach, although the approach to electrification, when you go to electrons are the same everywhere, but when you have a biomass project or you know, or any other heat recovery project, so you got different type of gases and pressures, and so it takes time. So I would say choose your clients because now you can. And this is like, you know, this is my message. You will have enough clients because the market needs solution. So choose your sweet spot. Don't try to adjust the system to projects that are not 100% fitted, you know, to your abilities or capabilities.
Excellent. Martin?
Yeah, I would fully agree to Nir. So one of the most valuable parameters you do have is to give your customer the trust that your technology, especially the engineering behind the technology for the integration, is able to do it and doesn't make any harm to the existing process, right? So each of the site managers would be horrible destroyed if you would slow down the output of the factory itself. It would increase the OPEX, if we would increase the capacity itself. So you have to take very good care about these parts of the process and of the steps as well. And of course, as Nir said, there's a sweet spot for different technologies in different sectors. Whereas at the moment, the market is sorting a bit, which means there are projects in the food industry, in the beverage industry, in the utility industry, in the ceramics industry. I think we are still in the phase of, let's say, early adopters. Innovators, it's already done. We're in the phase of early adopters and have to come to the early majority now. And that's exactly what Nir mentioned. There, the market will sort out which technology for which application or which industry fits the best.
Right. Perfect. I've got, well, I think we got time for one more question. And here's one actually for the both of you. What is the typical CapEx per kilowatt or megawatt hour and typical cost of heat? And just a ballpark number that you're seeing.
That's a question we always want to answer exactly good, which it could do if you have one system, as we do have a flexible system, right? And we can say, well, let's charge one container with 10 megawatt hours, or let's charge it with 20 or with 30 megawatt hours. That already makes a difference. But at the end, the cost of heat, levelized cost of heat of storage, and probably Nir also will confirm, and the other players in the market too, will be somewhere between 0.5 cent and maybe 3 cents per kilowatt hour, depending in the market, depending on the heat, on the source the energy is coming from, whether it's waste heat or it's electricity. But these are figures you easily can compete with existing solutions.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I would say that CapEx is the least important figure at the levelized cost of heat. I mean, if I can charge with negative prices, if I can get paid for my capacity payments, and then you know, and again when I'm engaged, so I can offer you any price almost. So I can answer, and as exactly as Martin said, you know, what's the capacity of the system? What's the power? I can't answer it, you know, like that. I can just say that in most of the cases we analyze, we are competitive to the existent, you know, natural gas or other fuel boilers, and we are 100% clean. So, I hope this answers. I mean, we can provide discount in almost every scenario before you are enjoying the fact that you are now emission-free.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I guess the CFO has to sign off on this, and he'd like to see a little bit of a save as well. So, and good for them, that's their job.